The secrets inside.
G'day everyone. Remember I talked about the worst cartoons as my least favorite childhood shows on my top 10 least favorite childhood shows last year? Yeah, that was a tough times. But now this year, I'm going to talk about my favorite childhood shows, just like I keep my promise last year, with cartoons and live-action shows, with great execution, wonderful stories, lovable characters, heartwarming moments, and fantastic life lessons for the children of all ages, including myself. So let's jump right in on my 10 favorite childhood shows. Starting with my number 10.
Go long, dude.
Pingu. This claymation show takes place in Antarctica. We have our main character Pingu, who lives with his parents, including his sister, who I didn't know what her name was. So guys, I'm confused. What's Pingu's sister name was? Pinga. Got it. So my original idea is to put this show on my number 8, but instead I put the show on my number 10, since after I swapped sides for Blinky Bill. But don't worry, I'll mention that wonderful show later. So the reason is why I put Pingu on my number 10, it's because it has 13 banned episodes that it's got pulled off the air all over the world, including my country, Australia. Yes, there's 13 banned episodes like with bleeding mouth, wheeze on the floor in the bathroom, kiss with their mates from their young age,
Stop giving the shippers ammo!
child abuse, and giving children's nightmares when they asleep. Jesus Christ! Look at this creature! He must be the giant seal who's created by Vio Pinquendo Ratatouille, but in stop motion and claymation, who is trying to eat so many children's souls. At least Caillou have 11 banned episodes, 15 years before it got removed from PBS Kids, and that franchise is still hated by all of us to this very day. But here, it have 13 banned episodes like I said before, and this franchise is popular, and it have a high score on IMDb to beat Caillou after Caillou has been aired on TV since 1997. Sure, Pingu was got into trouble and got grounded whenever he was being racism and been uncaring to his sister and everyone else, and did a lot of naughty things, but he learned his lessons in the end. So this show have a rap theme song called Do the Pingu Dance, who's created by none other than the legend David Hasselhoff. Yeah, I used to like that song when I was 16 years old, but now as an adult, this song is okay. Yeah, and I still recommend this show, and it's still part of my childhood. And for my number 9...
Go long, dude.
Tom and Jerry. Aw, good old Tom and Jerry, one of Hanna-Barbera Productions' treasure from 1940 to nowadays. Our main protagonist, Tom and Jerry, who's fighting each other who wins first with their crazy, wacky, and hilarious antics. And this franchise was with us for over 85 years. They have 2 theatrical movies. One is the original from 1992 in hand-drawn animation, and the other is the cartoon live-action mix-up movie from 2021. And they have lots of directed DVD specials after the failure of the first movie, but I still like the first movie. And they have few reboots after the successful of the original. And I prefer Tom and Jerry Tales and the original. So Itchy and Scratchy from The Simpsons, they're acting like Tom and Jerry, but with violence, and that's The Simpsons parody. So in the first movie, lots of people got confused and they think that Tom and Jerry has talked the first time, So here's what our buddy Nostalgia Critic would say.
Unbelievable. I mean, just unbelievable. The one rule that you never break, and they broke it in the first 10 minutes. I mean, isn't that like one of the 10 Commandments or something? Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Tom and Jerry don't talk.
Well, the thing is, Critic, not only Tom and Jerry has talked the first time after the first theatrical movie, they talked the first time in the original show after Tom's got kicked out by his owner, and after he was been blamed by Jerry. And Jerry has talk again at Gene's movie that I didn't know what the name was. Also, we will celebrate the 85th anniversary of Tom and Jerry and thank Joseph Barbera and William Hanna for giving us a wacky, crazy, and lovely memories with those two. If you count my fan-made anniversary trivia posters of Tom and Jerry from my community. Oh! And for my number 8...
Go long, dude.
Blinky Bill. Oh, wait. No, not this one. That's the puppet version from the original. That's my mom's old favorite childhood show. I was talking about the other one in hand-drawn animation. This show takes place after the theatrical movie of Blinky Bill from 1992, which is I hate that movie when I watched the full movie of this on Prime Video last year. But I like the ending song of this. And now let's focus on the show itself. Our main character, Blinky Bill, who goes on the crazy adventures with his friends, Flap, Nazi, Marcia, and Splotch. And I must don't forget his neighbor, Wombat. But we're not going to call him Wombo. It's because Blinky has always called him Wombo.
Hey, Wombo!
Don't call me Wombo.
Yeah.
So when I was a little boy, I watched season 3 of this show on ABC for Kids, before I watched the episodes from season 1 and season 2 from my teen years on YouTube. So in season 3, Blinky, Flap, and Nazi went to the circus after Blinky has ditched his mother. So they free the animals to travel all around the world with the caravan as the big balloon, which is belonged to our main villain, Basil Circus, and his dim-witted younger brother, Cyril Circus. So my favorite part from the episodes, The Dog's Best Friend, is this part where Flap has slid down from the stairs handle. This reminds me of Drop Dead Fred.
Who put that there?
Who put that there? I know it was painful to watch and I was just being silly. So a decade after the finale of this show, and after the successful of the Christmas special of Blinky Bill, they made the CGI reboot of the theatrical movie of Blinky Bill, which takes place in the Ultimate Timeline, which is my favorite movie from 2015, which I prefer the original show in hand-drawn animation, and the Christmas special as the finale. I know I was rude and mean to the cartoon live-action mix-up movie of Blinky Bill from 1992, but I'm sure I'll give the movie a chance to watch it again. And for my number 7...
Go long, dude.
Regular show. Our two main characters named Mordecai and Rigby, who lives in the park with the others and their boss Benson. And this show was a parody of my childhood SpongeBob SquarePants. And since Mordecai and Rigby has saved the park and the world, and here's what Benson would say to them if they don't do their work properly. He will fire them.
I don't know what's been going on here or why you two jokers have my book, so you had better clean this mess up starting now or you're both fired!
I never blamed at Benson, just like I did to Squidward while I watched SpongeBob. And then 2 years ago, I was feel sorry for Benson, thanks to Wicked Bench. Which is on one episode, Busted Caught. If they didn't make it into the dealership in time in 30 minutes before they close, Benson will lose his job. It's easily one of the saddest moments in Cartoon Network's history. Speaking of Cartoon Network, In the early 2010s, Cartoon Network has gave lots of fresh ideas for the upcoming TV shows for kids and families. For 16 and 15 years after the failure of modern Nickelodeon, it's because after the release of Fanboy and Chum Chum and lots of crappy shows from Nickelodeon, after Adventure Time has been moved from Nickelodeon to Cartoon Network in the late 2008 to the early 2009, that lovely show shouldn't have been aired on Nickelodeon and Nicktoons. But I'm sure Nick was still trying to make some much better modern shows nowadays. They deserve a second chance. Except for Brian Robbins, who ruined my childhood's legacy after the death of Stephen Hillenburg. Anyway, so my favorite episode is The Sandwich of Death. After Mordecai and Whippy has made a mistake by left their lunch death sandwich out to the kitchen, and accidentally poisoned Benson while they did their cut of jeans shorts and their haircut, before they having death sandwich. But luckily they save him with the sandwich of life after defeating Sensei, and this show was good for the children including me as Adventure Time. And of course, Mon SpongeBob SquarePants from season 9 to season 11. So we will stay far away from Uncle Grandpa. Yeah, that show is worse than I remember. And for my number 6...
Go long, dude.
Pocoyo. Pocoyo. One of the best Nick Jr. show in the mid-2000s. When I was a little boy, I first time watched the show after I watched Peep in the Big White World, which is my favorite childhood show from PBS Kids. Our main character, Pocoyo, who has lots of things to do, and sometimes have adventures with his friends, Pato, Ellie, and the others. And they were learning from the narrator and the younger audience, which is getting like the first 3 shows of Blue's Clues. So this show was Nick Jr.'s first CGI animated show, while Nickelodeon's first CGI animated show is The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, a year after the successful of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius movie, and it was beat up by Shrek at the Oscars 2002. And Nick Jr. has made a other show, Let's Go Pocoyo. I haven't seen that show for a very, very long time. It have lots of learnings, and of course, songs too. Yeah, this franchise have dozens of shows, but not lots of them. But I prefer the original and Let's Go Pocoyo. And for my number 5...
Go long, dude.
Grandpa in My Pocket. In Sunny Sands, England's United Kingdom, we have our main character, Grandpa Mason, his pet dog, Beowulf, aka Wolfie, and his grandson, Jason Mason. And Grandpa's other grandkids, Josh and Elsie from later seasons. And finally, Jemima Mason, Jason's older sister, and their parents, Jules and CJ Mason. So Grandpa have his magic shrinking cap, and whenever he puts it on, he shrinks without everyone knows it, except for Josh, Elsie, Jason, Teddy, Wolfie, including all of us, and of course, Mr. Greater the Creator. Since after Jason showed him once after the competition from season 3. You see, in this show, lots of people think he goes for a little lie down when he's small. So my original idea is to put this underrated British show on my number 2. But instead I put The Weagles on my number 2, so I put this show on my number 5. Just like I did to Pingu and Blinky Bill. There's some characters that I don't like, so there's Belinda Lucida, Troy, and Floyd. And for Lady Prick's Bottom, well, she's meh. But for Alvin, nah, he's an okay character. And then we have the character that I hate the most, is Grandpa's older sister, Loretta, that pain in the fish's tail who never shuts up. And never understand what her brother would say.
We could help you.
You do no such thing. No. I shall make a Sunny Sands clock.
Give me a break.
I already covered her 4 times on my previous videos, but I'm sure I will talk about her again for the 6 worst characters from the good movies and TV shows, but not today. Grandpa in My Pocket is a fun live-action British show, but sadly, the show got cancelled twice, and it's just like my other childhood show, Lazy Town. And for my number 4...
Go long, dude.
Thomas and Friends. Ah yes, Thomas Thomas and Friends, my other favorite British show. So all of you kids from all around the world, if you never heard about Thomas and Friends, well, it's a live-action animated British show with talking trains based on the original book, The Railway Series, who's written by the late and legend Wilbur Archery. And the show itself was created by the late and great Brawl Croft. They have some hilarious humors, catchy songs, likable characters, cool villains, wonderful life lessons, and darker moments. And no, I am not going to conclude All Engines Go the reboot. Or shall I say, All Engines Trash. Except for Bruno, because he's the best character. He deserves better than this reboot. So after the failure of All Engines Go, and after Mattel has ruined the franchise and the nostalgia, they false flagged fair use and insulting lots of autistic people all over the world. But luckily, Mattel got sued because of this, if you count lots of videos from the YouTubers, and remember to type in hashtag to hell with Mattel. So my favorite episode is A Scarf for Percy. It's when Percy got bumped and all those boxes and bag purses flying everywhere, and then it landed down at him.
Boxes and bags burst everywhere. Groaned Percy.
So for the first movie, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, well, I consider this as a canon to the Thomas and Friends franchise. And I still like this movie, and the director's cut should be released on the 25th anniversary DVD this year for the 80th anniversary celebration of this franchise, as soon as after they finish the work print for Brawl Croft. And besides, Thomas and the other characters deserve better than Mattel. Hit Entertainment deserve better than Mattel. The actors and the young actors deserve better than Mattel. The franchise deserve better than Mattel. The directors and the writers, including Angel Brenner and the others, deserve better than Mattel. And this franchise needs to move to Hasbro after they bankrupt Mattel and after the cancellations of All Engines Go. And then we will be happy we will have season 25 of the original to see Thomas to go to Japan after the Big World Big Adventures left off. And for my number 3...
Go long, dude.
My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. In Ponyville of Equestria, we have our main protagonists, Twilight Sparkle and Spike, who goes on, you guessed it, the adventures with their friends, Applejack, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, and Starlight from the latest seasons. Until in the end, the main 6 has write their letters to Princess Celestia for their life lessons from season 1 all the way to season 3. So in 2010s, this franchise and this generation has respect by good old Hasbro. But then this franchise wasn't go very well in 2020s, since after the finale of Friendship is Magic, and after the failure of Generation 5 of My Little Pony. Yeah, Generation 5 of My Little Pony has been cancelled because it's got failure, and someone has downloaded the links online for the upcoming episodes for Season 3 and Season 2. So we have some likable characters, so there's a main 6, including Spike, and the other characters, like a guest appearance character named Cheese Sandwich. Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic did an excellent performance of this character. Gee, I wish Michael Jackson would have his guest appearance in this show if he didn't die and never had 2 accidents. Anyways, so there's the other best character, Big Mac. Yeah, he's the world's best older brother character. Same thing for Shiny Armor. Yeah, Big Mac didn't even talk so much, but he have a charm like Odie and Snoopy have when they don't talk. But he have catchphrases like...
Nope. Yep.
And he does talk sometimes. I will forgive Hasbro after the failure of Generation 5 of My Little Pony, since they were trying to make so many critics and My Little Pony fans feel better. And my number 2 favorite childhood show is
dude.
The Wiggles. You all know it's coming. And my other original idea is to put this alongside with High Five at my honorable mentions. but instead I put this on my number 2, like I said before. Our main band, The Weagles, from 1991 to nowadays, has entertained children lots of things. You know, like singing and dance, reading storybooks, life lessons, and they have lots of catchy songs. And my most favorite song is Toot Toot Chugga Chugga Big Red Car. But I can't turn the volume up because I don't want to get a copyright. And this is better than Cocomelon, the most hated modern kid show who ever appeared on YouTube. And it's also brainwashed to many of kids. Besides, I have better modern kid shows than this brainwashed cartoon called Cocomelon. So we will stay far away from Cocomelon, otherwise we will cancel this cartoon nightmare. Yeah, we have some much better modern kid shows, like Bluey. You see, it have some gorgeous animation, likable characters, great execution, and it have a life lessons correctly. And I am so surprised that Anthony was starring in this show as the cashier and Rusty's father. So I consider The Weagles as the best live-action kid show from my country. And before we get to number 1, here's some of the quick honorable
Go on,
mentions.
dude.
High Five. Man, those were the good days with this show. It was beat up by The Weagles, but still the best. Sesame Street and Elmo's World. These shows were beat up by Thomas and Friends, but still a great show and a spin-off. Pokemon XY. I haven't seen this show for a very, very long time. 3 shows of total drama. Same thing for Pokemon. I haven't seen these shows for a very, very long time, and it's still very nostalgia to me. Anyway, on to number 1. And I found my number 1 favorite childhood show
Go on,
is
dude.
Paw Patrol and SpongeBob SquarePants. And once again, you all know it's coming. First, let's start with Paw Patrol. In Adventure Bay, there's a 10-year-old boy named Ryder who lives in the Paw Patrol lookout with his pups Chase, Marshall, Zuma, Rocky, Sky, and Rubble. Whenever everyone was in trouble, and after they called Ryder for help, before the rescue mission begins, here's what Ryder would say.
No job is too big, no pup is too small.
When I was 9 years old, I first time watched this show a year after it's been released on Nick Jr. But then as the years go by, when I got older, I forgot about this show. Until 2021, following the release of the first theatrical movie, Paw Patrol the Movie, I watched it on YouTube over and over again, and then when I watched it on TV again, my childhood memories with the Paw Patrol finally came back. And I started to remember that show. And I can't help to watch this show, Paw Patrol, because the writing is so clever. And this reminds me of the original Wonder Pets nowadays. And I wouldn't mind for the new style of Paw Patrol. So the new character designs for the Paw Patrol is a bit incomplete. I'm sure the animators will fix it and make them look exactly like from the posters and the first 2 movies. And besides, Chase and his friends, they're almost cute as I remembered as the new detail and the new changes. And finally, let's talk about SpongeBob SquarePants. So my original idea is to put SpongeBob on my number 5. But instead, I put this lovely show on my number 1, alongside with Paw Patrol instead. Season 1 to Season 3 of this show was classic, but Season 4 to Season 5 wasn't go very well with my childhood. I already talked about Season 6 to Season 8 of this show last year on my top 10 least favorite childhood shows. Luckily, this show got better in Season 9 to Season 11. I heard SpongeBob has won every rewards at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards every year. But why SpongeBob always win awards at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards after Avatar: The Last Airbender since 2008? But why not other cartoons with high ratings will win at the Kids' Choice Awards the first time? I know SpongeBob has won a award as their favorite cartoon, but it's time for SpongeBob to stop winning a reward from the Kids' Choice Awards. I love SpongeBob SquarePants, but The only thing that SpongeBob will stop win at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards is he needs a break. I wish Paw Patrol will win at the Kids' Choice Award. And I wish Nickelodeon and Spin Masters Entertainment will give Paw Patrol a crossover episodes with Wow Wow Wubsy and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic instead of SpongeBob. It's because it's a part of Stephen Hillenburg's rules of my childhood. In my opinion, SpongeBob and Paw Patrol is the best Nickelodeon and the best Nick Jr. show of all time.
That is so great.
Whenever you have a problem, just yelp for help.
And then we'll come to the end of this video. I know lots of adults have a great memories with all these TV shows from cartoons and live action. As long as if it gives them, including me, smile. And we don't forget to have a life lessons from the great TV shows and making all of us a better people. And do you think you have your own favorite childhood shows? If you thought so, leave your own thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.